closer.
I know. It's funny that way. Oh, it's already started.
Yeah, it started.
Oh, okay.
So hey Neil, how have you been this quarter? I haven't seen you around as much.
Yeah, it's been pretty busy. Just a lot of different things going on. Like Advent weekend just passed. So we've been like taking the pros out and kind of showing them Stanford from what like we've seen over the past year.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a really nice change. The weather's like really cleared up. I like hiked the dish for the first time, and it was like really nice because people said that like after the rain kind of clears in, you can like the fog really clears out and you can see kind of like all of Stanford and even sometimes into like San Jose or San Francisco. And it's like super nice. I've like never done it before either. I got super lost because I didn't know where the entrance to the dish was, and then I had to call one of the other RCC or one of the RCCs.
Yeah.
and they had to be like, yeah, you have to walk, down campus and like across from EBF. It's like one of the entrances. Somehow I ended up in like KA area and had no idea what I was doing. So kind of string of getting lost freshman year, but hopefully it'll get better.
Yeah, that's a final loss freshman year. I actually barely know how to navigate around there now. So at least you're like ahead of the curve.
I like to think so, but you never know.
Yeah. How are classes going?
Classes are going pretty well. Like I'm not really sure what I want to do yet, so I'm still kind of exploring.
Mm-hmm.
I came in at the beginning of the year like wanting to be a pre-med. Like I was so dead set on it. Like I remember when I came for Advent weekend, I told my rojos like I'm for sure going to be a pre-med. I can't see myself doing anything else. And they just kind of like laughed at me. They're like, 50% of Stanford kids come in as pre-med. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to be one of the however many percent that finishes. And then after the first quarter, like Chem 31X was brutal. Then last quarter, Chem 33 was like even worse. So then I was like, oh, this is like really tough. But all my friends were taking like CS classes and like math classes, so I was like, I might as well take these too. But all this like these engineering / like techie classes have been so brutal that I'm kind of like trying to veer away from it now. So I'm taking a couple econ classes, psych classes, and see like where I want to end up.
Yeah, that sounds like my sister. She was like 2 years above me actually. So she graduated last year, and she started as a pre-med. She wanted to be a doctor since she was 7 years old. And then she got to Stanford, did 2 years of like all pre-med classes, and then decided like I don't really like medicine.
Oh my god!
And then just completely
That's a crazy
started from scratch.
commitment. What is she doing now?
I have no idea. I think she wants to be a writer or a teacher now. So she like completely switched, but like not until after finishing organic chemistry.
Well, maybe I should talk to her about things so I can try to figure out my life a little bit earlier.
Yeah. I can see if I can actually get you in touch with her. She's around. I think she's doing a co-term this year. That's why.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
So,
It's good stuff. What else? You were talking about hiking the dish earlier. What else have you been up to this quarter, just outside of school? Have you did you rush at all?
Yeah, I spent some time rushing at the very beginning of this quarter, so I looked into kind of like I guess I went with a lot of different people in the dorm, just out to all the rush events. At first, I came in not like wanting to do a fraternity, so like I'm from South Carolina, so fraternity life down there is like very, very different.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's like the stereotypes of fraternities down there, like in sororities, like very high up there, like hazing is supposed to be like really crazy, and like all they do is drink. Like one of my friends was talking about like she for some reason ended up in an all sorority tower, so it's like 16 floors of all sororities, and for some reason she was the only freshman to end up there, and so she's like complaining about like she'll walk out like during a weekend in her pajamas, and everyone's all like dressed up, and they're like judging her hardcore, and it's just like a weird kind of culture, and I didn't want to be in that kind of situation, but then a lot of like people here were like, you know what, you should at least check it out. Like if anything, they have free food. So I went out, and I had a chance to like go around a lot of the different fraternities. So like, I went to a couple events from Theta Delt and like Signu, and then I also kind of checked out some of the ethnic fraternities, as well as some of the pre-professional fraternities. So like service was something I was interested in, so I checked out AFIO, and then like business was something I was interested in, so I checked out AK Psi. And then I've always like resonated strongly with kind of my ethnic background, so I went to some of the events with like Lambda Phi Epsilon. And then I think ultimately a lot of the guys I've been hanging out with a lot of this year decided to do Lambda Phi Epsilon, so kind of in the pledging process right now. It's like been really tough, so it's like something that's really kind of like defined a lot of my spring quarter, but I'm hoping to reconnect more with like some of the guys in the dorm because I feel so disconnected from everyone else.
Yeah, that happens.
Which is probably why you haven't seen me in a while. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's completely fine. I rushed my freshman year, like strictly for food, pretty much. And I remember around going to all the events, showing up like at the perfect eating time, and just like hanging out with everyone and meeting people. And then for a couple of them, I got invited to lunches separately from it. Not knowing I wasn't gonna pledge, and just went over to eat food. So it was like a good deal. Like it's so different from like the girls' like rush process, which like is much harder to begin with.
Yeah, all the girls were just like coming back there exhausted. I was like, what's going on? Like I had fun, the food was good.
Yeah. We even had one time it was like an arcade day. I think it was stated out. They're just like an arcade day the whole time. So. Like, did you check that out?
Yeah, I ended up being able to go over there and see that. That was really fun.
Yeah.
Like telling the girls about that versus what they had to do for, what was it, like 5 or 6 or something hours? So I was just like, yeah, you know what? I ate a lot of food and played a lot of games. But, yeah, fraternity rush seemed a lot more fun. But it looks like sorority pledge is a lot more...
Yeah.
They're a lot nicer to people than fraternity pledges.
Yeah. Do you know how long your pledge process is?
Yeah, they're like pretty ambiguous about it. They say things like, you'll finish when you guys are ready. And I'm like, what does that mean? I want to be done now. So they just say, they just like just keep working hard. Like you'll get there when you guys like together as a class come together cohesively and learn the ideals of brotherhood and things like that. It's all really ambiguous. They just keep saying things like just take that leap of faith. I'm like, I don't even see anything that can take a leap of faith over.
Yeah.
So it's been tough, but it's like really nice having the other guys along doing it with me.
That's good. Are any other people in our dorm?
No, a lot of other people came out, but it like turned out that I was like the only one who ended up getting a bid.
Okay.
Which is like unfortunate because a couple of the guys down the hall, they really wanted to do it too, but unfortunately they didn't, end up being able to get a bid. It was kind of sad. So it was like really tough getting it, and then just being like a couple doors down and expecting to get it too, but not getting it. Okay. So it's been kind of like tough. I haven't really seen the guys that much this quarter. But we've been cool all year. Like had a lot of fun times on ski trip.
Yeah.
Like they like killed me at snowboarding. They're so good. You don't really get snowboarding too much in the South.
South Carolina. Yeah, but, same here.
Yeah. It was fun. They taught me a lot. But yeah, they're good guys, and I think despite all the things, we still get along. There's no drama, right? So.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. Same situation. Like I think every freshman dorm has a little bit of that. But like at the end of the year, we like try to make sure that like people get time to really hang out and with each other because the last quarter of your freshman year is like a really just a good time to bond with each other. So, what do you think about how we're doing as far as like bringing you guys together for the last quarter, like the banquet or the different things we have planned for the end of the year, so you guys can just kind of have like these goodbyes to each other?
Yeah, I think it's like really good. Like spring quarter is just such a great time because there's so many different things going on. So like, even though I'm like off spending a lot of time doing the pledge, it's just like it's really nice to always be able to come back and see everyone together. I feel like winter quarter people kind of like retreated back into the rooms because everyone was like, it's dark outside, it's cold, it's raining, like no one wants to go out. But now like doors have like spread wide open. People constantly send out emails being like, hey guys, let's go, lounge outside. So it's like really nice. I think staff has been like really, really accommodating in terms of like bringing people back into like house meetings and then bringing up all these events that we can do. I think the banquet will be like a really fun culminating, I guess, like event for everyone to hopefully not say goodbye. Want to stick around. Like the draw is definitely causing some drama. Like
Yeah.
there are people who like originally it was like an 8-person group, now it's like a 6-person group, and then like a 7th person wants to come in, and like deadlines coming up, so it's like super stressful. Like I mean, like how did you deal with draw your freshman year?
We had wait, do you know who you're drawing with as of now?
Like I have an idea, but it's complicated because
Yeah.
some people like all these like emotions come out about like who you like compatible with in terms of like sleep schedule. It's just like a huge mess.
I think I remember my dorm. We had like a cluster of my group of friends that pledged frats, and then there was just about 8 of us who didn't, and we were just trying to figure out. So we split it into 2 groups of 4, and then we ranked the same preferences straight down the.
Oh
place.
wow! All right.
But we didn't. We heard. I think my RA actually told me that if you go bigger than 4, your housing is you're just gonna get screwed in the process.
Oh.
So like that was the hope right there. And then we figured with 4 people, even if your housing isn't great, you still have 3 other people that you know pretty well.
Yeah, yeah.
So we kind of try to base it off like that. And then sleep schedules. We my sophomore year I lived with. We had 2 athletes and 2 non, so we just paired the ones who weren't because we figured we'd be up all the time.
Yeah, makes sense.
So like, what are you guys looking at right now?
I guess like I didn't know about the 4-person draw group kind of thing. We're thinking about doing like several different 8-person draw groups, staying like as closely knit together as possible. Yeah, I heard a lot of people ended up in Oak Creek this year. That doesn't sound very fun. I don't really want to end up all the way over there. Like, my bikes were broken for a majority. I had like a couple of bikes stolen here at Stanford too. So like, if I run into one of those situations, I can't imagine walking to campus every day. Like, I'm not even sure where Oak Creek is, and that's just an indication to me that it's too far away.
Yeah, Oak Creek is it's a fair bike ride if you're gonna live there. Like, if you have a car, it's there. Like, I've seen some people with really nice rooms there, but as a sophomore, I feel like it's not that ideal. Especially as if you get Oak Creek, you're probably just going to get split up with each other. Like, I would say smaller groups. And you could even, if you go small enough, you could potentially draw into a row house with a tier 2 still. There are a couple of people in my freshman dorm that pulled that off.
Oh, like which ones?
I think they were, 717 and Durant.
Oh, okay. Those are pretty nice.
Yeah, they drew into those. But they went in a group of 2, and then yeah, I think it
sounds like smaller draw groups is better.
8 people that.
So we'll have to think about this. We'll have to redo this. I'll let everyone else know. It might work out better that way.
Yeah. Where you you might want to consider like where most of your classes are, things like that, based on like where you're ranking, where you want to live.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. So I'll probably, all these things like I never thought about. All we were doing is like, these are the best places that everyone's been talking about. Everyone wants to stay together, all this energy. So maybe we should think about it more realistically.
Yeah, it's a pretty sweet. You'll be fine wherever you. If you like have a pretty good group of guys, you'll be fine wherever you like. You're gonna make new friends, and then you also have all the people in Lambda with you, and you'll have a community either way.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I think sophomore year, a lot of people, after going from freshman year, have struggled with not having the same type of community around them, but it sounds like you'll be sad.
Awesome. Great. Well, it was really nice catching up with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was really fun. I have to run to another class, but...
Yeah, and you can stop by every anytime.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, definitely have to talk more. This is great.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yay.